Hi there, folks. My name is Susie. Thank you so much for joining me today. This video journal is just to give you a little glimpse today of why we decided to become foster parents and how that journey looked for us initially. My husband and I have been licensed a foster home for about 6 years now. When we first initially became foster parents, our biological children were um, 4 and 6 years of age, and my we wanted to add to our family. And initially, I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to add to my family through adoption or have more biological children. But my husband was more receptive to that because his brother had adopted 2 children from the state. Um, and so we decided to get licensed and just get our feet wet and see where this journey led us. And when we were going through the licensing process, you hear all these things that, hey, if you're looking for babies, then you're probably going to wait a very long time. Um, and and anyways, we got licensed, I believe, for the ages of 0 to 2 years of age, and we didn't have to wait very long. Once our license was signed and done, within that day, we had called Home Finders, which is what we have here. It's the state's division of um, uh, that finds the homes for the kiddos that are coming into care and needing them. And so we just called that unit of people and we introduced ourselves. We said, hey, we're looking for children between the ages of 0 to 2 years of age. And I just explained to them, I'm not sure, we're just open to whatever the need is during that. I don't care if it's a boy or a girl. Um, I said, absolutely don't give me any medical kiddos. I said, I'm not up for anything along those lines. I said, I need more along the healthier lines. That is just not my background. And so essentially, that first week they started calling us. And so I think we ended up having about 6 or 7 phone calls of placements that week. And they tell you a little bit about the kiddo that's coming in the hair, what they know, which is very minimal. And so we sat down and for whatever reason, it's the only time in my entire journey of foster parenting that I was able to say no that many times. But I just couldn't pull that trigger the first time. And I remember um, just saying no, 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 no. And then Home Finders called me up and she said, hey, Susie, listen, I think we have just the kiddo that's right for you guys to start in on this. And it's just a healthy little baby, and we need that home. We need a home for him for just a couple weeks. And what ended up happening was that baby ended up not being very healthy, and so all the things that I had said, don't give me a child that has health issues, because I couldn't deal with that. Well, ended up being that that's just what happened. The baby was about two days old when we first picked him up, and he ran into some pretty significant health challenges. And due to those health challenges, the reason why they needed that home initially for placement, well, the home that he was supposed to go into, they weren't able to take those challenges on, and because he was in the hospital a lot. And so we were able to continue to care for him and love on him. And he had numerous times where he was set up to leave our home. And for whatever reason, things would fall through. It wouldn't happen. And so I remember when he was about 6 months old, at that point, he still had a plan to leave our home and go to another permanent home. And I remember talking to my husband and saying, of all of this, here's the deal, honey. I said, I was so worried about not loving a child that wasn't my own as my own flesh and blood, that but now I know that love is real. It is possible. It does not matter if it's from my body or a part of me. And what I recognized is the fact is that each one of my children, um, I love them as individual. The uniqueness that they were created um, as the individuals that they are. It wasn't the fact that they're part of me or not. It was the fact that I love them for who they were. And I just said, we don't need to worry about having any more biological children ourselves. Even though he is leaving, I know that this is the right direction for us to go to add to our family. And so, and he was about 6 months old at that point. And when he was about 9 months old, we found out that we were going to be able to adopt him. And so we adopted him over that next year, or over those next, he was about a year of age when we finalized the adoption on him. And but during that time, that lead up of that first year, where we thought that he was going to be leaving our home, we had taken him multiple placements. So we may have been just thinking we were only going to take one at a time. But here we had this baby. He was having health challenges, but I had a slew of people of support with my church friends, my friends next door, my neighbors, the grandparents, our family, that we were really able to take on more. And so we had this little guy that now is our son, and then but we were taking in other infants. So typically that first year really kind of set the tone for all of the last 6 years, which is we have had a minimum of 5 children in our home over the last 6 years, sometimes up to 8. And it has been one of those things where oftentimes the children that have come into our home that we have thought, or the state has thought that they would more than likely be going to needing a permanent home. For whatever reason, it didn't work out that way. And so those kiddos often moved on to other homes, or were taken into by an additional family member. Because as a foster parent, one of the things that you learn, and they really went over and over again in the class for foster parenting, was the fact that reunification is always the number one goal. And that is not an easy thing to digest, especially at the very beginning of things, because, there's just a lot of reasons. But after the years have kind of come and gone, it's something that you have to grow to learn. And you have to make your why big enough that it is bigger than all of the negative that there is in foster parenting. Because the one thing I can tell you is the fact that there are so many people that complain about foster parenting, about the state, about how things have been wrong, both biological parents, adoptive, foster, and the thing is you have to be willing, if you're going to complain about it. What is your part? What is your part in, one, fixing it to make it better? And two is we have to remember that this is the only system that our children have. And unfortunately, it doesn't always work the way it should. And but rather than what is my part on that and what can I do? And for us, it is all about the children. We love the kids that come into our home, and we just want to share with them what a family looks like. And you would think that oftentimes these kids come into their home and they would be so excited that it is a clean, it is, we feed them regularly, we don't cuss or drink or smoke, anything along those lines, and they'd be grateful to us. And I can just tell you that doesn't happen. I mean, some of these kids have definitely taught us a thing or two. So, a thing or two, some words, I should say. and and it's just because that's what their normal is. And so we're taking them out of the environment that they've had, and we're putting them into something that is completely that they've never been exposed to. And I like to think that no matter how long or short that they are in your home, is if you can give them a loving, healthy environment, whereas you're modeling that within your family of what um, a close, connected, healthy family should look like, then it is okay. They have a resting place, and they will remember that look or that special thing that you did for them. And I just never, in all the years that we foster parented, I think one of the biggest compliments a foster child gave to me one time, and I use some of the terms like foster child. I don't use that on my day-to-day basis. They are just one of our kids, or depending on the age, we come in, we say, hey, I often come in and I'll meet them if they're older, and I'll just say, hey, my name's Susie, and it's so nice to meet you and have you over. And I'll have my children come and introduce themselves, and oftentimes just show them the ropes of where things are at and what's going on. And I do not, and I have never come in and gone, hey, you can call me mom and stuff. That oftentimes will happen. I've had kids come into my home and they are calling me mom within 30 seconds, and they're hanging on my leg. But then I've had some that they just call me Susie, and that's where it sticks. And I'm okay either way. But one of these children came into my home, and she had been with us just a very short time, about a week, and the social worker came to pick her up and from our home. So after that week, and so she came over, and the social worker asked. She goes, she had said, so where's my sibling at? And or do you know where your sibling is at? Is what the social worker asked. And the child said, well, he's in foster care. Are we going to go pick him up? And the social worker goes, well, he's in foster care. That's right. And she says, that's where you're, sorry. Anyways, that's where you're at, right? And, but essentially what it was is the child came back and said, no, I'm not in foster care. She goes, I'm staying with my special friends. And that really touched me, because that's what we are, is we are their special friends. We are their family. We're their extended. We're here to love on them, provide for them, care for them, nurture them. And we don't look at them as foster. They're just one of our kiddos come to stay, and we're going to play out, and everything's all equal grounds. So anyways, when she said that, it really dawned on me that she was just adamant that, hey, I'm not a foster kiddo. My sibling may have gone into foster care, but I want to stay with my special friends. And I just I've always thought about that, because when she said that, I thought, yes, that is what we are. We're the special friends. We're a safe place to fall until their next chapter. It's their story. It's their time. And we don't have control over that, but I have control over the time and the environment in my home. And in a situation of foster care where we don't have control over the cases and our kids and the kids that are in our care, we have control over the memories that they'll take from our home. We have control over how we talk to them, how we engage with them, the things that we provide for them, and the love that we show for them. And it's life-changing. It's life-changing to hear the stories, and to just be a part of this journey. Well, it's coming on 15 minutes here. I so appreciate all of you guys for just listening and hanging out to part of our journey. I'm going to keep all of my videos less than 15 minutes long, because I know it gets a little bit longer, too long after that. So I look forward to chatting with you. Bring your cup of coffee, sit down with me, and I'll talk to you just like I would talk to my friends about where we're at. If you have a question, definitely dial it in. Let me know, and I'd be happy to answer. Thanks so much. See you now.